Good morning, and we are live. This is Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Higher in Heels. Probably helps if I have my microphone over here. I am Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Higher in Heels, and this week we are talking about daring to be different. I love this topic because I am different. I am unapologetically different. I love who I am, and we have talked a lot about that. So, on Words Matter Wednesday, I started thinking about what are the words associated with being different that we need to address in our vernacular. And what really came to me was finding our tribe. And tribe is sort of this new word, I would say, that has come into our vocabulary within the last few years. I don't know, maybe this has been around for the duration, but I've heard tribe spoken more so in the last few years. And that's, I go to a wedding and they have the bride tribe, like who's for the bride. That's the bride tribe. And, there's just always the find your tribe thing. And so anyway, so tribe is basically just finding a group of people that you can relate with. And as I looked at my entrepreneurial journey, so I spent 15 years in corporate America, and it was that was that. I mean, I went to work, I had work friends, I left work, I had non-work friends. I typically didn't mix the two. Every once in a while I would. Um, but my friends I didn't really think a whole lot about the types or anything. I mean, I arguably had a tribe then as well, but people, I picked them based off of, are they nice? Do they like to have fun? Do they have similar morals to me? Things like that. And when I left corporate is when I felt that I had more of a void in my life than almost I ever had before. So as I started to look around at my friends, it's not that my friends weren't able to, that they weren't my friends still, but I realized that I needed to be surrounded by people that were also on a similar journey. So I had gone against the grain. Now, mind you, most, if not all of my friends worked in corporate or yeah, something to that effect. I didn't have a whole lot of entrepreneurial friends, maybe a couple, but that wasn't who I surrounded myself by. So here I go out on a limb. I say, okay, I am doing my own thing. And that's really against the grain. I don't know what the statistics are, and I should find this out of how many corporate workers versus entrepreneurial workers there are in the United States. I don't know what that number is, but I imagine it is much smaller to be an entrepreneur. So I would argue that daring to be different is stepping into that entrepreneurial space because it is far more, let's face it is far more convenient to work for a corporation. And quite frankly, it's kind of easier in many regards. That doesn't mean that it's easy work. I worked a lot of long, hard hours. So I'm not diminishing the amount of hours and time and all that goes into it. But you get a paycheck every other week with most companies. And a lot of times they do a 401k match and you get health insurance. Maybe you pay for it a little bit, but they pay maybe the bulk. And you get paid time off and you get life insurance benefits and you get, and you get, and you get. And when you go to be an entrepreneur, nobody's paying you for paid time off. You don't get 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Oh, yeah, I get 5 weeks of time that I get to go sit on the beach and get paid. I mean, if you have automated courses or if there's ways that you can make money while you're I mean, that is possible while you are an entrepreneur. But the fact is that, if it's a service-based entrepreneur, if it's a service-based role that you're playing, if you have to do coaching or you have to mow lawns or you have to cook food, you can't lay on the beach and do those things. You see what I mean? Maybe you could do coaching, but you know what I mean. So my point is, when you step out into that vast world of entrepreneurship, There are so many things that aren't taken care of that are taken care of by a corporation. And so, unless you've gone through these steps, you don't know what that's like. You don't know what it's like to go find your own insurance. No, usually you look through the benefits every November and you say, this in the US, I don't know what it is in other countries, but our enrollment period here in the United States is typically in November. And so you look through and you say, do I want a PPO or do I want an HMO? Which plan do I want? I'll choose the PPO because it gives me more flexibility. When you're an entrepreneur, I will say, and I'm going to say this out loud, that we as a country, as the United States, we say, oh, well, we support our entrepreneurs, not really in the health insurance space. I will say that you completely miss the mark in health insurance. And I don't know, and I'm not going to make a whole big political thing out of this, but that has been my experience is that the health insurance sucks. So, okay, United States, there's my challenge to you. Work on your health insurance because it sucks for entrepreneurs. So go support us. Yeah, entrepreneurship. Make sure that your health insurance doesn't suck. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So, but as we jump out into this vast ocean of the unknown, it becomes so important to surround yourself by people that get it. You are daring to be different, and you want to surround yourself by people that have been there. Now, by daring to be different, that doesn't mean that you are the one and the only person that does XYZ. I am tall, but I am not the only tall female. I am bold, but I'm not the only bold person. I like to just dance and that's my thing. I'm not the only one that likes to dance. But these are all characteristics that, yeah, are maybe not the norm, but they are Jen Sugarmeyer. And you may say, okay, well, I'm going to step out and be an entrepreneur. And maybe you do have that one thing. You are the only one in the market that has that one thing. Well, guess what? Being an entrepreneur is also there is a pool of people that you can tap into. And we don't have to understand 100% what you're doing. Your consumers do, right? But making sure that you surround yourself with those people that get it, that can say, hey, this is a good health insurance, or this is a good thing to do, group to be a part of, or whatever. I'm part of different networking groups. So I do BNI. That's one group that I'm doing for now. I'm still debating if that's something that's worth my while. But BNI is a group where a bunch of entrepreneurs come together and we help each other. And there's one person that does this and one person that does this and one person that does this. And they only allow one person per group. And the reason they do that is so that when I'm talking to somebody and they say, hey, I need a roofer, I say, oh, this guy. Or when they say, hey, I need a CPA, I say, oh, this lady, or whatever. So I go to this networking group and I found out about this once I started my entrepreneurial group journey. They said, join this group. I'm also part of a group that I'm bringing to Dallas. It's called SPICE. It's supporting supporting prosperity impact contribution entrepreneurs. And so here is a massive group. This is such an incredible group, and I can drop the link in the chat. This group is blowing up all over the United States, and it's about to come to Dallas where I am here. So if you're interested, contact me, but find your local SPICE group. And it's entrepreneurs that want to help each other. And they are meeting once a month and they're talking about their 90-day goals, and people are seeing how they can help each other and this, that, and the other. And boy, when I found this group, it was like that feeling of confidence that we talked about, where you put that shoe on and you're like, oh, this feels good. These are my people. And there are other people in different industries that were in this room. But the truth is, we all know people, and our resources are massive. I mean, our networks, we've got massive networks that we've known from corporate or from just for our journey. And so I may say, hey, this is my 90-day goal. And somebody says, wow, I know how to help you achieve that. Let's sync up afterwards. And that's how that works. So I know I'm talking about entrepreneurship a lot, but that's the journey that I'm on. But I don't know what that is for you. You may say, hey, I want to go do basket weaving. I don't know why that's been in my head recently. Maybe I had a dream about it. I don't know. I've been talking about it a lot. But you say, oh, I want to go explore this. I want to get into diving. I want to do this. I want to do surround yourself. Find these people that are going to get it, that are going to understand. I remember when I was in college or right after I graduated college, I moved over to Italy and it was one of the most phenomenal experiences. So I was like 21 years old, 21, 22 years old, and I moved to Italy and I did a lot of traveling. And I went around with this band. I was dating this guy. I was, riding a Harley Davidson on the back, not on the front. Um, it was just magical. I was drinking wine at castles, like I was laying in vineyards. I was doing yoga and like it was just it was just so incredible everywhere I went. And I came back and I would talk to people, I just like that was my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, Italy or oh, Austria or oh, France, yeah, Spain, yeah, Germany, all the places that I had been traveling to. And this had become my norm. Everybody in Italy did the same thing. They just hop on a train, they go somewhere. It wasn't a big thing. I mean, everything is so close there. It's like going to, the next state over. It's just right there. You just go. But there, it's a different country. So here I am traveling to different countries, super easy, super cheap, super cheap. Flew to a different country for 29 euro one time. So that's like 40 bucks. So yeah, super cheap. And I came back and I remember I was talking about it to people and a couple of things happened. One, people said, "Oh, wow, my life is really boring." So they made it all about them. Hmm. Okay. Wow. This conversation wasn't to make you feel bad about yourself. I was just talking about me. So you can listen to my story and be happy for me or whatever, or you can make this about you. And what I found is that most people make it about them. They're not like, "Oh, Jen, that's so great. That's amazing." They're like, "Oh, my life is really boring." So that didn't feel good because that wasn't what I was going for. The other thing is some people felt like maybe I was bragging. Oh, look, that's nice. And it's probably because they were jealous. So they just said, "Boy, you're bragging," which I wasn't. And that made them feel better about their situation. So what I learned from this is at a very, I was at a young age, is that you have to be really careful with who you tell because not everybody is going to understand. It's the same with my entrepreneurial journey. When I talk to people that don't get it, they say things like, "So are you working these days?" And if you're an entrepreneur, you know why I just made that face. Am I working? I work my butt off. And guess what? A lot of times I don't get paid. That doesn't mean I'm not working. It means that this thing takes so much time to build and you have to see the future and you have to say, "I know what the long-term game is," and you have to be in for the duration. That's what this means. So yes, I'm working. So okay, but you don't know what it's like. You go to your corporate job and it's cushy. You go there and you get paid every 2 weeks and your PTO and all that. And that's great. That's a decision that you made. This is a decision I made. But I can't have certain conversations with you because you just don't get it. And the way that it comes across is just not the way that I just don't need to deal with that. Or, rolling out something and, somebody saying, "Okay, well, that's great. I'm glad that you rolled something out, but how much money have you made?" Which basically what they're telling me is that they equate success with money. And I don't equate success all the time with money. There are many other definitions. And if you're in a space full of people that are just like you on that same journey, they're going to understand it. They're going to understand that not everybody wants to consume what you put out, but you learn through it and you grow through it. Or maybe it takes time and it's not going to be that you've made $1 million in the first week, but you have to continue to promote and you have to continue to do all these steps and take all these, whatever in order to get to where you want to be. But somebody in a different space isn't going to understand that. So that's why surrounding yourself with these people that do is going to make all of the difference. I had a conversation with a woman last night and she dropped out of college. She's 20 years old and she's created a six-figure business. And she joined our group Spice. We were having a Clubhouse event every Tuesday on Clubhouse. And so she was in Spice Nation with us and she reached out to me afterwards and she said, wow, this was the conversation that I needed. She said, I have felt so extremely alone because, first of all, I tell people I dropped out of college and they go, why would you do that? Oh, oh. Have you considered going back? And they encourage her to go back. Now, I'm not here advocating people drop out of college. That's absolutely not what I'm advocating. But the fact is that she is telling people her story, and the response that she's getting is not one that is of supportive to her. She needs something different. And the other thing is she's making six figures. She's 20 years old and none of her friends understand this. None of them have created a business. None of them have come into that kind of wealth. None of them have run a business or managed anything. And so she's just feeling alone. Her parents don't get it. Her friends don't get it. She's alone. And she comes across this group called Spice. I think it's Spice Nation on Clubhouse. Well, it is Spice Nation. And so she finds us, and then all of a sudden, it was like that warm hug. She goes, oh my gosh. So I don't even know this woman. And she didn't come up on stage to talk, but she heard me talking and she heard some others. And I guess maybe she resonated with me. So she reached out and we chatted for a bit. And she said, I can't tell you how good it felt to be surrounded by people that get it. And I don't even know what her business is. I have no idea. I didn't ask. I saw her pictures on Instagram and I'm not sure. I'm not sure, I am very confused on what she does. I'm not sure if, she shows pictures of her in a bikini or what. But anyway, I'm not sure what her business is, but she's making six figures at it. And it doesn't matter. My point is it doesn't mean that there has to be this perfect alignment when you step out and you do something different. But it helps to have an alignment of some sort, of some capacity. It doesn't matter if I go into an AA group, an NA group, an ED group, and I'm mentioning like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous or Cocaine Anonymous or Eating Disorder Anonymous, or doesn't matter what any of these anonymous are. It doesn't matter which one I go to. It doesn't. We have the same underlying things that are going on with us. Sure, I've never done cocaine. I really can't exactly relate to that. But if I go into a Cocaine Anonymous and people are saying things like, boy, I just didn't like the person I became, or this thing took over my life, or whatever, I can say, wow, that resonates because that was me with my alcohol journey. So there doesn't have to be, I've mentioned this because there doesn't have to be this, we are 100% the same. Finding your tribe is about finding people that get it, that can see bigger than just that one thing. So when this 20-year-old approached me, I didn't have to know what business she was in. I don't even know if she knows what business I'm in. She just heard some of the words that I was saying and it was resonating with her. And she went, that's my tribe. I'm coming back. And it doesn't mean drop all your other friends, but we have to know what conversations we can have with people, just like me and traveling or me jumping out and doing my own thing. I can't talk to all my friends in corporate. Not every single one of them is going to understand. I have to know people's emotional intelligence, their background. One of my very nearest and dearest friends, she works in corporate. And well, I guess her husband does as well. I guess that's considered corporate, but they go to their standard jobs. But she also understands to some degree this journey that I'm on because, her family or, just her ability to open her mind in that capacity or whatever. And she's very loving and supporting and just giving. And I can talk to her about certain things, but I can't talk to her about everything. So you just got to know who you can talk to. So being different is wonderful. It's wild. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's how you are going to stand out. But don't feel that you have to do it alone. Finding your tribe is like finding that shoe that fits. So go out and find your tribe. The internet has some amazing resources. I'll drop Spice in the chat, but whatever it is that you're going through, you can find, whether that be on Clubhouse, whether that be on the internet. There's so many virtual groups that exist out there today that no matter what it is, if you want to basket weave, you can find somebody on meetup.com that's basket weaving, and you can go join that group, or you can go start a group if nothing already exists. You can do whatever you want. So we are at the end of our time. Again, I am Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Higher in Heels. I would love if you would subscribe, and if you would share this with your friends, because we are here live Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. every single day. And I love the support. I love talking about these topics. They are designed to help get you motivated for the day, help strengthen your mind, because everything you need is at the 6 inches in between ear to ear. And that's what we're talking about here on Higher in Heels. Go out to higherinheels.com. That's how you can contact the show and also grab your free magazine. So, how are we going to end this? That's right. We're coming up. We want the world to know. We're going to let it show. That's right, ladies. Why? Because we're coming up. We want the world to know. We're going to let it show. That's right. I will see you here. Same time, same place tomorrow. Hasta mañana.